Hitachino Nest Red Rice Ale.
And remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Let me get it in focus a little bit more. There you go, Lois. There you go. Right, I've got one here, a bit like Van Gogh. Got one from Japan here today, and it is the Hitachino Nest Red Rice Ale. Now, I've had a couple of beers from this brewery, and I do remember one of theirs being a Belgian style Vit beer. And you know what? It wasn't bad at all. And I was quite impressed with it, actually. It tasted better than some of the actual Belgian Vit beers that I tried. So they sort of know what they're doing. And regardless of what you say about the Japanese, they do have a reputation for quality. They make fantastic guitars, they make great cars, and they genuinely just know what they're doing. Now, this beer, of course, is not the biggest brewer, or this brewery, I should say, not the beer. The brewery aren't the biggest in Japan. And the reason is because they only started brewing beer in 1996. Before that, they would distill sake, and I still think they actually do distill sake over there. If you've ever tried sake, it's like a rice wine. Oh, it's fucking vile stuff. I can't stand it. Some of you might like it, but fuck that. I've tried it a couple of times. Oh, vile stuff. Really is horrible. I don't know how people drink it, but there you go. Just my opinion. The beer, though, is not bad. Now, I tried the Soropono. What was the name of it? I can't even remember the fucking name. You know the one I mean, in the big silver can. I tried their black lager, or their dark lager. That was really nice. I was really impressed with that. Their ordinary lager, their premium lager, not so much. Soroprano or something? I can't remember. It's something like that. Fucking shit with names. Guess what happens when you get my age? But I do remember this lot being good. However, it's made with rice. As the name suggests, red rice ale. Now, I'm in two minds about rice. I take a very dim view of brewers, certainly in Europe, that use rice in their beer. Now, I know AB InBev use it a lot. They use it in quite a few of the lagers that they produce. But the reason I get the hump with it is because malt is grown in abundance in Western Europe and Eastern Europe as well. So, you know, if you find a brewery that's putting rice into their beer, it's a cost-cutting exercise. And Budweiser are renowned for putting it in genetically modified rice. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I just think it's a way of making up the grain bill, and it's cost-cutting, it's cheap, and usually found in light beers, and I don't like it. I've never had a good beer with rice in it, put it that way. Or I've never had an outstanding beer, and you certainly won't get any German brewers putting rice into their beer, into their lager. It's just, I know they've got the Reinheitsgebot and all that, but thankfully that is one instance where, I know there's ways around it, there's certain stipulations in the amendment to the Reinheitsgebot that allows you to put certain adjuncts in. But as far as I know, I could be wrong, but as far as I know, there is no rice in German beer, and it's all the better for it. But where I do make allowances for this is in in the Far East, where of course rice is abundant, but malt not so much. And that's why they've done it in this. And if you look at some of them Far Eastern beers, certainly the Chang beer, that contains rice. A lot of the Asahi stuff, the original Asahi stuff, contains rice. And they make no bones about it. It's what they do. It's how they brew their beer. It's fine. I don't think a Western brewer should be doing it, but that's just my opinion. But now we've got that out of the way, I have to say that this is quite quite a unique beer. A quick word on red rice. Red rice is actually a thing, believe it or not. The husks on the rice are red in colour, and that is down to their anthocyanin, which is basically a pigment that is found in certain foodstuffs, and it is coloured according to their pH. So, for example, it does have an astringent type of taste to it, the anthocyanin on its own, but the rice does have a nutty style flavour to it, which is vaguely interesting, I'd say. But it's definitely a first for me. Red rice is obviously it's a Japanese thing, and it goes way back. It's basically an ancient style of rice that has been eaten since ancient times, but it's eaten with the husks on. So if you've ever eaten brown rice, well, it's similar to that in that it's still got the husks on. They don't take them off. Hence the reason it's supposed to be better for you. Anyway, I'm going way off topic here. Let's get this beer investigated. Right, 330ml bottle, 7% ABV. That's pretty hefty. And it is a red rice ale. It contains water, malted barley, hops, yeast and red rice. Imported Japanese beer. So this is actually brewed and bottled in Japan, and it has come over from Japan. Cool. A beautiful pink coloured ale brewed with ancient red rice. Yeah, they say it's an ancient red rice. It goes way back. And they call it Asamaru Saki. I can't fucking speak Japanese. Jesus Christ, I can barely speak English. Asamaru Saki. Asamaru Saki. Is that how it's pronounced? Could be wrong. This ale has moderate bitterness and pleasant acidity with a hint of fruits on the nose and the palate. And the reason it's got fruity notes is because of the Chinook hops that are used in this. And where they're saying it's got a pleasant acidity, I'm assuming that's coming from the astringency of the red rice. It uses ale yeast. No, it uses ale yeast, and it uses lager malt and Chinook hops, as I say. So, relatively interesting. It's a new one on me. Let's get it open. Let's see what's going on. Right, here's the cap. An owl. Something to do with nest and owls. Japanese love that symbology. I'll tell you what I don't like about Japanese beer is when it froths up and goes all over the fucking place. I'm just going to have to throw this into the glass now. Wow, that is carbonated. There it is in the glass, and it is, as they say, quite a cloudy, reddish hued coloured ale. I can smell it from here. It smells, wow, there's a sourness to it. A sour and fruity note to it. In a blindfold test, I'd say this was Belgian. Like maybe a brown ale or a red Flemish ale, possibly. Could that be what they're trying to achieve here? I don't know. They've done Vit beer before, so it wouldn't be so unusual. But that's what it smells like. And I have to say, it smells really nice. Very sweet, sour, and generally not bad at all. There's it's almost like a cherry style, cherry and mango style flavour. Really interesting aroma. Let's see what the flavour's like. Bottoms up. Not bad. Not bad. Let me dive in again. I have to say that isn't bad. there's quite a malty style nuttiness to it, if you know what I mean. It's a mixture between them two, but there's a very subtle sourness to it, which I like. There's a fruitiness too, a sweet fruitiness, like mango, and I think it's like a cherry style. It's reminding me of a very subtly flavoured creek beer. That's the sort of thing it's putting me in mind of. But the flavours aren't big. The aroma's massive, but the flavours aren't big at all. But I'll tell you something, that is super easy drinking. Not too sweet, not too sour, perfectly balanced between them two flavours. No trace of ethanol, which is making it very nice indeed. And I have to say, mouthfeel's pretty good too. I have to say, this isn't bad. And for a 7% beer, I thought I would have got some ethanol. Not getting that at all. Very slight astringency on the arse end to it. I think that must be coming from that rice, them rice husks. It may have imparted some of that bitterness into the beer. But again, very subtle. I don't mind this. This isn't too bad because you put it in the mouth and you think you're going to get immediately, certainly from the aroma, you think you're going to get massive flavours. The flavours on this, in my opinion, are quite subtle. Unless I'm catching fucking COVID. There's a fruitiness to it. Sweet fruit like mango and cherry. More mango than cherry. But again, very subtle. And it's quite refreshing. Now this is cold, it's come out of the fridge. I'm not sure what sort of temperature it's supposed to be served at. But I'll tell you something, this isn't bad. I'm quite impressed with this. Definite yeasty sourness on the aroma. Not bad. I'm quite impressed with that. So what's the verdict on Hitachino Nest Red Rice Ale? I didn't know what to expect, and I have to say, it doesn't taste bad. Now, I'd usually, as I say, I have a downer on beer that's brewed with rice. Usually it smacks of cheapness, but not with this. They've definitely got something going on there. They're heavily influenced by the Belgians in this brewery. And who the fuck is that? And this one does remind me slightly, not a lot, but slightly. I can also sound like Paul Daniels there. Certainly when I sniff it, it smells like a Flemish red ale. That's the first thing I would immediately think of, smelling that stuff. And if I was blindfolded, I would swear blind it was a Flemish red ale. The aromas are big. Flavour is perfectly balanced. It's warmed up a little bit now. There's a little touch of ethanol coming through, but not a lot. They've managed to disguise that. And I have to say, it isn't bad. Now, if you're not a fan of sour beers, you may be weaned onto them by this, because there is a slight sourness here, but there's also some sweetness. Very balanced and very nice. And I have to say, it's quite drinkable. For a 7% beer, I could knock back a fair amount of this, I say. And I'll tell you how much it costs, first of all, if I can find the paperwork. I've got so much shit here. My missus got me a Valentine's card the other day. See that? It's nice, isn't it? It's nice. That's fucking true love. We've only been married not long. Start as you mean to go on, I reckon. I've got a price list here. Where is it? Do you know what? It's probably not even going to be on there. Oh, it is. Yeah, $3.49. Now that might be a little bit expensive for some, but I don't mind that. I probably may even buy some more of this because it doesn't taste bad at all. Definite Belgian influence there. Flemish red ale. That's what I know. I'm keep going over it, but every time I take a mouthful, it's like Flemish red ale, light with the flavour toned down, but it's good. I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10, and I recommend it if you want high ABV beer without the ethanol and without the stringent bitter flavours that you get sometimes in them high ABV beers. It's not bad, and obviously it's not the best beer I've tasted to come out of Japan. I think that goes Sapramo. I think it's something like that. I can't think of the name, but try their dark lager. It was really good. But this isn't bad. I'm impressed with this. And try their Vit beer as well. They do a Belgian Vit. I can't remember what it's called, but it's in the style of a Belgian Vit beer. Really good. I was very impressed with that. But yeah, I'm quite liking what this lot do, and I may even investigate this lot further. So there you go. 8 out of 10. Recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.